Hello, welcome to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, making it simple. I'm Dizzy Juggler, and this is our tutorial series to help you get the most out of Microsoft Flight Simulator and make your flight simming experience better. Our goal is to make sense of all of this and hopefully avoid this. Let's get right into this episode. Hey everybody, alright, in this video we're gonna do something a little bit different. If you've been grinding away on cargo missions and career or parachuting and flight seeing, this will be a great break for you, I think. So let's go right to it here. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you how to fly an Airbus airliner. So what we're talking about here is not the A310 because it's a completely different set of avionics, but we're looking at the A321, the A330, the Beluga, and the A320. They're very, very, very similar. The way the avionics works in these airplanes, there's a few little differences, but once you understand one of them, it's pretty easy to jump to the other ones. Once you've selected your airplane, we are going to select this one. Going back to Naples. And I'm going to set up a short flight between Naples and Rome. And we're going to LERF. 34 left, sure, why not? So then we'll bring up the EFB. And where's my, there it is. Go to the flight planner. Let's go here, swap to IFR. 150, you can't, on this short flight, can't really go too high because there just isn't enough time to get up there. So 150, I found is pretty good. You can get there and have a little bit of time at cruise to set up for the approach. So that should work, even though it says here it's no good, it should be okay. And we're going to change our departure to Alex 7H. Change, okay, we're runway 6. That's our departure. Our arrival, we are, what was it, 34 left, right? 34 left. We're going to do ILS 34 left, and we are going with the, usually they make us do rudder. I don't like this one because you got to hook back. I prefer Odula. We'll see if we can convince them. Right. Do we have everything? We have everything. Send that to ATC and avionics. It's kind of important that you do this. Otherwise it won't. Well, it just makes things more complicated if you don't. Send it to ATC and avionics. And I think that's all we need. If you don't want to use the shortcut, where is it? I think there's a door here you can actually enter there, right there. You can enter through there. And here we are in the Beluga. Let's go for a walk because this airplane is pretty cool. But okay, so here's the hatch to go into the cargo space. I think you have to get like this, and if you go up, there we go. Oh my god, that is so friggin' cool. I love it. Okay, I just recorded a bit and my mic was muted. So let's try this again. Right, so at first, these airliners can seem quite complicated. There's a ton of stuff going on down there and also up above. But Airbus has actually done something here that's quite brilliant. They use a white light off system, which basically means whenever you see a white light, it usually means you have to do something with it, take some sort of action. So the other thing that they've done here is the way to work through this, you would start from this bottom left corner here and work your way up this panel. If I don't spin out of control there, up all the way up that panel to the top and deal with any lights or switches that need to be dealt with. Then you would come down to the middle section here and work your way up through that and deal with any white lights or alarms or anything like that. And then finally this third section here, this third panel, and work your way up that. Then you would come down here and work your way down through this, across, and up through here. And then finally work your way down through this area and around and up. And of course, the onboard EFB, which INIT has provided for us. So let's throw some power on here and see what I'm talking about. Turn on the external battery, and every single time the wipers are on. Let's get rid of those wipers. Okay, now you can see there are some white lights here. So those are things that we would have to deal with one way or another. Oh, I forgot to mention also, oops, get here. This is your Autopilot panel here. Now, don't freak out because it looks like a lot of stuff, but in most cases, there isn't a whole lot we have to do. For the most part, the way things are set up, there's only a handful of things that we have to deal with. We don't have to touch and fondle every single thing in here. So you'll see what I mean as we get through it. Okay, so let's reset back to cold and dark. Shut that battery off. Everything turns off. Actually, there's a way you can do it here too. If you go to panel state, and if you wanted to, let's say you were pressing a bunch of buttons and you wanted to start over from scratch, you could just press this cold and dark button here, and that'll send you back to everything off, no power, no nothing. The other thing is, in case you came here and this tablet looked like that, also might be like that. So either the power may be off, so try that. Most likely it's because the brightness is turned down all the way. So you can just turn up the brightness and then you will be able to see what's on the display. So there is a quick way to do this. If you don't want to go through pushing a bunch of buttons, well, not even a bunch, but pushing buttons up there, for whatever reason, let's say you just want to get on with it, you just don't have time today. You can go to the panel here, and I'll show you, normally it would be on this page here, I believe. So you'd go to panel state, and these are sort of like presets. So if you press from cold and dark, if you press the on APU, that throws your airplane into APU configuration. It basically does all of your pre-configs for you. It sets all of these buttons and switches for the most part to the way they should be at initial cockpit configuration. And then you could just move on with setting up your flight plan and getting on with the flight. But we're not going to do that today. I showed you how to do it. So we're going to go, oh boy, what happened? Oh, I went into photo mode. How do I get out of photo mode? There we go. So we'll go back to, go back to cold and dark. Because it's really not that difficult. So basically the way that this will work is, think of it this way. We're going to go up, down, left, down, and then up again, I think, is the way it's going to work. So first we'll go up, we'll set these buttons and switches to the way we need it. Then we will come down and configure our MCDU. Here it's called the MCDU. You can look up what that stands for. Something to do with the flight. It's a FMS basically, but Airbus calls it MCDU. And then we will go over to this and back to this. And then we'll do some final stuff up on top when we're getting ready to move about. So let's get into that. Well, the first phase here is up, right? I said up, down, left, down, up. So we're going, first phase is up. So we're going to go up here. We're going to hit one of these batteries on. Then we're going to press the master APU or APU master. Oh, the frickin' that thing again. And we're going to press the start button for the APU. And we're also going to hit the APU bleed. And we're still in the first phase. This doesn't count as the go down, but what we're going to do is come down here. And you can see this is the APU. You can see here, this is the APU info. So we can see the APU is fired up. So we can go back up again. No, wrong one. So we've got power. Now, I believe, so what we're going to do then, never mind what I was going to say. So, like I said, we would start here, work our way up, wiper is off, it's not raining, so we can leave that. Cruise supply, we're going to press that because it's a white light out, right? And, it's really hard to do that with the controller. So the IRS, these help with navigation to identify where the aircraft is and that sort of thing. So we need these on. So what we're going to do is put all three of them to the nav position. And you see here it's number 1 is here, number 2 is here, and number 3 is here. So if you want to do it the real world way, you would do 1, 2, and 3 instead of left to right. And there. So let's get back to this. So you see here everything is red on the displays in front of us. It'll take a little bit for those to boot up, basically. So when we come back, hopefully everything will be the way it should be. So let's jump back up there and continue on. So there really isn't anything else left. Oh boy, that's really tough to navigate that way. Maybe I should use the mouse. So the mouse isn't any better. So there really isn't anything else left on this side. So like I said, then you come down to the middle section here and start from this side here. So we're going to put our strobe to auto. You could probably put your beacon light. We're going to start our engines soon. So usually put the beacon when you're about to start your engines. You can do this like really whatever way you want. There are some procedures. You wouldn't turn on the runway turn off light or lighting lights or the nose light yet. We'll come over here and we'll put seatbelts on and smoking to auto. And so we have a red light here, which we also want to turn off. So we will set that to arm. It's emergency exit light. And work our way up here, work our way up. And we see some white lights here. We got bats. So we got to turn these bats on. And I believe we should be able to turn that one off. I hope that's okay. Oh. And then these white lights here, fuel pumps. We're going to turn the fuel pumps on. No more white lights up here. So we come down to this side. Wipers. There's spinning out of control. Nothing else there. So there really wasn't that much. Now, still part of phase 1. We're going to come to here. Make sure this is working. And normally what I would do at this stage, because I want the correct altimeter setting here, I would go to ATC and tune ATIS for weather information and airport information. There we go. IRS will align in 4 minutes.
Airport information Alpha 1400 Zulu. Wind
I can
05.
quiet her. I can just read here. So here you can see IR in a line in 4 minutes. So this will display our current information in 4 minutes. So what do we have here? The thing I really am focused on right at the moment is QNH, which I want to go to 1016. 1016. And then you would come down here, and there really isn't anything. Oops. Back up like this. Nothing really else we have to fiddle with here. Come to this. So, like I said, oops. We would come this way down, across to this side and up. So over here, we want to make sure the gear is down. You want to make sure your anti-skid and nose wheel steering is on, and verify that we have 3 green for the gear. That's pretty much it at the moment. So that was our first phase, which was the up phase. Now we're going to do the down. So the down phase, we're going to go to the MCDU. I can put ATC away for now. So this thing here is actually a lot more simple than it may appear at first. First thing we're going to do, so down here actually is this is the scratch pad. This is where you can type stuff. This line here, you can type things and messages appear. So we have some messages here. The first step we're going to do is clear those messages. We don't need them. So till we get a blank spot there. Now, we want to go through the initialize phase. You want to hit data, wait for system response. Go to AC status, just verifying that you have the correct aircraft information. We are in an A330 743L with the Trent 700 engine. And you want the active nav database, but you can just leave it the way it is. Next, we'll go to the initialize page. So a couple things you can enter here. First, we will go to let's see. We're not there yet. 1 minute. Okay. IRS isn't aligned yet, so we'll continue this way. We'll put in our flight number. You don't have to, but I like to do it. You know what? I'm going to the mouse. Let's go. Go to the mouse. Yeah, okay. So IRS, I think, has come alive now. So we're going to enter our flight. Zulu X-ray tree 70, and the way this works is when you want to enter a piece of information, usually there's a box with or a line with boxes like this, and when you hit stuff on the keypad, it will appear in this bottom line, and then you press whichever soft key here aligns with the row or the boxes that you want. So we'll click there, and you can see the flight number got inputted there, and we will clear that message. So here you can see our from and to. We're going from learn to LERF. We have no alternate airport, but we could enter one. Let's do this. We'll do Pisa as our alternate, just for fun, just to show you that you could do that. Press that and press return, and now we have an alternate. Cost index gets populated most of the time, and we have our cruise flight level here that we entered in our EFB to begin with. You could change that also if you wanted to. Same thing, you would just press if we wanted 130, let's say, instead, and you just press that and it'll change the temp. But we don't want that. We want 150. And actually, I'm going to put it back the way it was, 150. And you put, when there's two pieces of data there with the slash, you actually type the slash. And we're going to go minus 6, I believe is what it was at. And now we have it the way it was. Okay, we're going to click the IRS initialize button and looking for all greens here, and it looks good to me. Next, we are gonna go to this page here. So now we will go to the left. The next phase, we're going left. So on this EFB, on this dashboard page here, we have our flight details. What's shown here is basically our flight number, the alternate airport that we've entered, our departing and arriving airports, some information, basically weather information. And then if you go to this OFP, this allows you to use SimBrief. If you create a flight plan in SimBrief, you can download it into the EFB here. This is the best thing in the game. I'm sorry, the entire game. This is the best. I love this. We'll come back when that's a little bit further along. So on this screen, oh, not that screen, this screen here, we would enter some payload information. We're not going to take any passengers. The cargo will happen in a minute. We'll do that once that door is open. And fuel, we're probably okay with that amount of fuel. Let's just take a little bit more. Okay, so let's have a look outside and see what's going on here. Look at that. Ain't she a beaut? Oh, yeah. Oops. Nice. Love it. So now we're going to get some cargo going here. On this cargo page, you have some things that you can choose from. Let's go, what do you want? Let's go with the wings. We'll click start load, get those wings going. And what'll happen is, if I can get a good view here, a trolley carrier thing here will actually transport the wings to our aircraft. It's a little thing, but it's cool. Really adds to the simulation experience. So now we have our cargo loaded. We're going to go back to the payload page here. You can see now there's some value here. We have the weight. It actually, where's the cargo page here? So here it says the actual weight of the item, and it populates it here once you've done all of that. Now what we're going to do is hit this apply load, but wait, did our fuel change? Looks like our fuel changed. Let's get this up around 30. Gonna hit the apply load. Sometimes this will bring up a couple of choices. It could say like do immediately, do it in 5 minutes, do it real time, which could take like half an hour, 40 minutes real time. So you can choose what you want. So that's part of our left phase. Remember, we went up, down, left. Now, we're actually going to go back and forth a couple times between left and down. So we're going to go back to the MCDU, so our down again. And we have some boxes here to deal with, some information to deal with. Now, what this is looking for is, I don't want to get into a long, complicated technical discussion of zero fuel weights and center of gravities and so on, but basically we have to input some numbers here for the computer to calculate how much distance we need and how fast we need to go to take off for a safe takeoff, and decide whether the runway is long enough. So really all we're doing, I'm going to jump back over to the tablet. All we're going to do is get this information and I believe this one here into the MCDU. You can type those in manually, but actually all you need to do is press this soft key and it loads. And block is block fuel. What that is how much fuel you have on board, which is this number here. So same thing, you could enter it or press this button and it puts it there by itself. Very good. Now we're going to jump back to the tablet. We need to close our doors. So we go to the ground. We got to close this puppy. Then we're going to go to this takeoff page. And what we're going to do here is get the tablet to calculate our takeoff values. So first thing you do is hit the sync button and make sure that you've seen the weight come in here. And we're looking at flaps here. This is basically saying we're going to use the first position of flaps. And some other stuff here, we don't need to worry about that right now. Just sort of take it as it is because it's just a very simple tutorial. I don't want to get too much into the weeds. Press calculate. Now you can see here it's giving us our V1, V2, and VR values. And we're going to send that to the FMGS, which is basically the computer over here. Now we're going to go to performance. You see here it says confirm to data, and there's a star here. So there are a couple of boxes here, well, 3 boxes that need populating. Again, you can do them individually. You could go to here and get the values are over here. You could get your V1, V2, and VR values over here, or just press this to confirm the data button, and it populates on its own. So that completes that phase. So now we have done the up phase, down, left. Now we're going to do that down phase that I said, the second down phase of our overall plan. To do that, we are basically what we're going to do here is be looking at the flight plan and getting us sorted out and getting set up for the actual flight. So to do that, though, we need to contact ATC. And the first thing we're going to do is request IFR clearance.
Clown Zulu X-ray tree 70 heavy.
Clown Zulu X-ray tree 70 heavy. Readback is correct. Contact ground on 121.9 when ready to taxi. Good day.
Good day, ma'am. Okay. We'll put ATC away for now. Okay. So actually no, I need that. Bring that back. So we can refer to this. Let me just back this up a tiny bit. All right, so what they've told us is we're gonna take off runway 6, which is what we have in our flight plan. And we're taking the LX 7H departure, which is what we have loaded there. So we don't really have to do anything. But if you didn't have it there or you needed to change it, the way you would do it is press this first soft key here, which aligns with the airport and runway, or departing airport and runway. And you would click on departure and then select the runway you want. And I don't know if I want to do this. Let's do it. Okay. And then you would select the SID or departure, which in this case was the LX 7H. You would click on that. And there are no transitions here, so we would just hit insert. That's the way you would do that if you had to change. Actually, let's just show it if you had to change it. You go departure. Let's say if they said, no, you got to do 2-4. We do 2-4 and pick whatever transition or SID that you had to take, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to say erase so we don't mess things up. Right, so now that we know we have at least the first part or our departure, we can go to the autopilot section here. We got to do a couple of things here. They've given us our first altitude, 13,000. We're going to go 13,000. Right there, 13,000. The other thing I wanted to do is earlier we changed our QNH over here, altimeter. We're going to do that here on the pilot side and co-pilot side, because co-pilot is lazy and doesn't do it on their own. While we're here, the other thing we need to do, if it's not already done, is to turn on Flight Director, which is the FD here. And you will see, let me get rid of ATC. Let's go this way. You will see some stuff come up here at the top of this. When we hit Flight Director, we see Climb and Nav in blue. And we have to do it for First Officer as well, so we want Flight Director on both. Now once that's done, we can, well actually it changed, but what you would do here if it didn't already, you see these white dots here on speed, heading, and on the vertical speed or on the altitude there. What we want for this video, we want to be in heading and vertical speed mode, and we want everything in managed mode. So the way you would do it, the confirmation of that is that climb and nav are displayed and they're in blue. If you were to go here and select the speed button, you can see we have some choices there, managed speed and selected speed. If we go to selected, you can see now instead of 3 dashes, it's an actual number that we can change, right? We're at free will to change. We don't want to do that. We want it controlled by the aircraft computer. And let me get rid of this. So if you look here, this column here are speeds. So it's already been programmed in the computer what speeds, any speed limits that there may be. Now, also, if you were to take this button, oh, I pressed the wrong button. There, that one. And if we were to go to selected, you see now, let me get out of that, and out of that, out of that. We've lost our setting here. It's now changed to heading, and it's basically showing that we're selecting the heading, and we don't want that. So if you see that, bad, change that back to managed. And over here we want vertical speed. We want our climb rate managed, but you don't do it from this button. You actually do it from the altitude select. So if we were to do selected, you can see this changed. We lost our climb and nav there. So we want to change that back to managed, and now we have climb and nav in blue. We have all dashes here, which is what we want. Whoops, it's freaking out. Now that we have our flight plan loaded, we can actually view it on this display here. If we switch this knob to our plan, you can see we have our flight path there, and this knob changes the zoom level basically. So we can change that to 20 miles, 40 miles, 80 miles. Let's go all the way to 320. Whoop, maybe not. So that's basically our entire flight path. So at any point along the way, you can have a look, see at what's coming up. It even shows the waypoints that you're hitting. What was I going to do? Oh yeah, constraints. If you press this button, it'll show constraints. Let's zoom that in a bit. So you can see if there are any altitude or speed constraints along the way. This blue kind of arrow thing there is top of climb, so that's when we will reach our selected altitude. And let's see, I did see it. I don't know if you'll be able to make it out. Here, this white one is top of descent. So once we're at our cruise, that's the point we have to start descending in order to make our landing in time. We'll get into that more when we're in the air. What we need to do next is ATC. We want to request, put this here, request startup clearance. So what I found is that if you request IFR clearance, then request start clearance, then request taxi clearance, works better. If you do it in a different order, some of those options disappear. So the next thing we're going to do is request startup clearance.
Naples ground. Clown Zulu X-ray tree 70 heavy. At general aviation parking, information Bravo. Request startup.
Clown Zulu X-ray tree 70 heavy, Naples ground. Startup approved, QNH 1016.
Okay, startup was approved. Now I'm going to do a couple things at the same time. I'm going to request taxi.
Naples ground. Clown Zulu X-ray tree 70 heavy with Bravo. Ready to taxi IFR.
Clown Zulu X-ray tree 70 heavy. Taxi to and hold short of runway 06 using taxiway Quebec Alpha Bravo. Contact tower on 118.5 when ready.
Hold short runway 6 via Quebec Alpha Bravo.
Taxiing. Hold short runway 06 via taxiway Quebec Alpha Bravo. Clown Zulu X-ray tree 70 heavy.
Okay, put that away. We're going to go up to the top, right? Remember? Up, down, left, down, up. So what we're going to do here is get our lights ready. We've got our beacon on. We're going to put our strobe on. We're going to put the runway not landing yet, and we're going to hit the taxi light. We've got everything else. I think is good to go. We're going to start up our engines, but while we're starting up our engines, we're also going to get pushed back. Bring up ATC, go to ground services, request pushback.
Naples ground. Clown Zulu X-ray tree 70 heavy. Requesting pushback.
Clown Zulu X-ray tree 70 heavy. Pushback request accepted.
We're going to turn our ignition on, start engine 1, take the parking brake off, get rid of that. We're going to keep an eye on our engine data here, looking for it to start starting up. There's the pushback started. You see fuel flow has just started, so the engine is starting up. We can go outside and take a look at that engine. On the right side from this view is engine number 1, and it's starting to turn while pushback happens. If we turn on our assist here, oh, it didn't come on. Why didn't it come on? Where's my cheat? Anyway, that's not working. We'll figure out why.
It was at this moment he knew he messed up.
Oh, here. Oh, why is it turned off? Taxi ribbon. There it is. Okay, fixed the problem. I had turned that off before. Anyway, so I wanted to show you this before, but if you request taxi first before pushback, the pushback will actually align you so that you're headed in the correct direction. If you don't request taxi first, you have to do it on your own. You got to sort of instruct them which direction you want them to push you. So that's actually a neat little feature also. So we're just going to be going right there. I don't need that because runway 6 is right in front of us. So the beauty here is they will put us in a position that'll help us taxi, and he's done. We're going to put that parking brake back on. Parking brake is on. We have thrust on engine number 1. We're going to go ahead and start engine number 2. And you can see you see these values starting to change, so it's firing up. We're going to wait till we've got some thrust here, and we're going to turn the ignition off. We're going to set the engine mode back to normal.
A few moments later.
There it is. So go back to this view. We're going to put ignition or engine start to normal. Oops. 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 There we go. And now we got to go back up top. We're going to turn off the APU. We've got, I think, everything, no white lights here. We're going to turn off APU bleed because now we have the airplane is running on its own power with its engines. We don't need the APU anymore. We can kill it. We're almost ready to begin our taxi. We just have a couple more things to do, and then we can start moving this Beluga. The beauty here is the remaining few things we have to do are basically told to us here. You could memorize to do these things ahead of time, but this is basically telling us what we need to do. So the blue things are things that must happen. They're basically warnings. So we'll do those. We'll actually do the one that's not a warning. So over here, this predictive weather system thing, let's see, where is it? Sorry about that. I had to take a call and a visitor. Night is a-falling. We're almost done. It's okay. What we're going to do is sort of follow the same path that I explained at the beginning, where we're going to go this way, down around behind, and come up this way. We've already dealt with this guy here. Let me jump this way. This is easier. So you would set your frequency if you needed to. Usually, we do that sort of quickly or automatically through the ATC menu. Then the next thing we want to deal with here, which is the warning light that's on our display there, is this PWS. It's the weather, I think it's the weather prediction system, predictive weather system, something like that. So we want to turn that, flip that switch over. Then the next thing here is ground spoilers. We want to arm them. Actually up here, let me disarm them. Let's do this view. Let's go back to 0. And you see here spoilers. It's telling us to arm the spoilers. Actually, I'm going to run through this. So this is our takeoff preparation. We have to turn auto brake to max. We have to turn the signs on, which are turned on. We'll verify that they're on. That's our seatbelt and non-smoking signs. We'll do a cabin check. I'll show you what to do to get rid of this alert here. Spoilers, we need to arm them. Flaps, we need to set the takeoff position. And takeoff config, there's a button we have to press that will verify everything is set correctly. So back over here to the spoilers. We're gonna arm them. So you just lift that handle to arm them. Down here, there's nothing. Wait, there's rudder. We would, if this had a value in it, like that, we would reset it. Flaps. Now, to check your flaps, your required flaps for takeoff, we go into performance. Right here, this flaps THS. Flaps 1 is flaps position 1, and the up 5.2 is our trim, which you can see is already set. The first, if you don't touch the trim wheel, it'll set it automatically. If you touch the trim wheel, you'll have to do it yourself. So we're going to set 1 degree of flaps. Trim is already set. Let's go back to this view. We'll flaps 1 and so we will have to do something here with the TCAS and the transponder. Right now, I think I want to set it to auto, and I mean, you could turn this all on and then you won't have to worry about it later, but it's kind of not proper protocol. Let me get rid of that armrest. So right now, this is on standby. A transponder code, if you remember from earlier, the ATC gave us a squawk code of 4161, so that's been entered for us. If you wanted to enter it yourself, the way you would do it, you'd have to clear out what was in there and punch the numbers that correspond. And they might actually get mad at me for doing that. We'll see. Hopefully it's okay. And this is co-pilot's radio. We don't need to do anything there. And co-pilot's MCDU. We don't need to do anything there. Now we come up this side here and brakes to max, and now all the lights went out. The only thing left, oh, even cabin went out. Okay, I guess it does it on its own if you wait long enough. Apparently it doesn't. I don't. If it doesn't go out, what you would do is hold this button here for a couple of seconds till you hear the ding, and then that light will go out shortly after. All that's left to do is takeoff config. There's a takeoff config button right here. You just press and hold it for a second, and hopefully you get takeoff config normal. If there's a problem, it'll alert you to what that problem is, and hopefully you can go and fix that. The only other thing here is this display here shows all our control surfaces. So see that? Once you put an input, you can see my elevator going up and down. And you want to make sure you've got all greens. That's ailerons, rudder. And looks like we're good to go. And we can taxi and get this puppy in the air. To do that, we need to parking brake. And give it a little bit of throttle. And we just have to go right over there. We're going to have to hold short and contact ATC as always. I'm just going to active pause right here. See if I can zoom in a bit more. This displays your ground speed right here. If you do go faster than 13 knots, you will get a ground overspeed warning on the display here, but you can check your speed in that spot right there. And my rudder is not responding. Don't know what's happening. Mechanic. What's happening? That's the problem. Somehow that turned, I must have hit a bind that turned that off. Now it should be good. Brake. Off. There we go. Now it's working. Problem solving on the fly. Gotta love it. Whoop. Okay, we're just gonna get close to the hold short line here. Probably the idle. Brakes, parking brake. We're on idle. ATC. Back to clearance. Clearance. Tower. Request takeoff runway 6.
Naples Tower, Clown Zulu X-ray Tree 70 Heavy ready for departure. Runway 06, IFR to Fiume.
Clown Zulu X-ray Tree 70 Heavy, QNH 1016.
Cleared for takeoff runway 06. Clown Zulu X-ray Tree 70 Heavy.
Right, cleared runway 06. So all we need to do, I'm going to try to zoom in. There we go. So before we take off, we got to put landing lights on, switch this to takeoff. I think you would turn the runway, turn lights off, but I'm going to leave them on. And we can turn our wing light on. And the only other thing, like I said a moment ago, where are we? Down here, we want to turn, get closer, so we don't get an alert during takeoff. We'll set that auto. I think you can put this to auto or on, and one or two doesn't matter. And this, I believe, needs to be on. And if I remember, I've done everything right. We should be good to go. I'm going to get rid of that ATC window. We're going to put it in the air. QNH 1016, that's confirmed. That's what they gave us for takeoff. Confirm it's still 1016. Verify that because it does change. Let's have a look at the plane and the lights on. Cool. Nice. Let's put that back there. Let's get this baby going. The automation in this is just amazing. It's so simple. The takeoff procedure is just like idiot proof, pretty much. As I say that, something bad will happen. All right, let's hope nothing bad happens. My first time doing a takeoff with the lights. Cool, looks nice. I've been wanting to do this for a while. Looks good. Oh, it's so cool. Oh, there's an aircraft. We got clearance and there's an aircraft coming at us. All right, ATC, good job. Good job, ATC. And we're just going to hit the brake. We're more or less lined up. So I just want to do this so you can see what's happening. Now, the procedure here for taking off, one last thing to look at is this flex takeoff temp, 58 degrees. It's all automatic. It all does it. But basically, we're going to hit, where is it? Go back there for a sec. We're going to put our throttle to this flex point here. We're not going toga. If we were on a shorter runway or we had a lot more mass in the airplane, we'd go toga, but for this one we shouldn't have to. If it warns us here on the display that we need toga, we can bump it up to one more notch. So brake is on, and I'm just going to use the increased detent. So 1, 2, you see here it's on flex, plus 58, and this guy, we'll just ignore that he's there. Look on the display, we see takeoff inhibit, that's what we want. Crash! And we're listening for our callouts once we hear V1, and we're looking at the speed tape here for our V references. Here they come. And gently pull back the stick. Positive climb, gear up. Flaps up. Oh, I did it again. Okay, had the wrong profile, controller profile loaded for some strange reason. So Autopilot. I'm gonna open ATC.
Clown Zulu X-ray
Yep.
tree
Yeah.
70 heavy contact roam center on 1 tree 1.1. Good day.
Going to Rome Center.
Tree 1.1 for Clown Zulu X-ray tree 70 heavy.
And now you see this lever climb where you need to pull the throttle back to the climb detent, which is this one here. So we're just going to pull that back. And we're going to tune Rome. Contact Rome.
Rome Center. Clown Zulu X-ray tree 70 heavy is passing 3,400 climbing 13,000.
Clown Zulu X-ray tree 70 heavy Rome Center QNH 1016 radar contact. Continue to RN 703. Clown Zulu X-ray tree 70 heavy. Expect 15,000. Keep speed not above 220 knots.
Expect 15,000. Keep speed not above 220 knots. Clown Zulu X-ray tree 70 heavy.
Okay, so now we need to put our spoilers back. And the lights. We need to deal with the lights. We no longer need runway. Landing lights stay on until 10,000, and the nose light goes off. And the rest of these can stay on. We're probably getting close to 10,000. Not quite. And now QNH is flashing here. Also, you can see here when I turn on Autopilot, came up Autopilot 1. There are 2 Autopilot buttons over here, one for the left side, one for the right side, or I'm not sure if that's how it works, but there's 2 Autopilots. I think it's pilot, co-pilot, but anyway, they have different functions, whether there's one on or both on. We'll get into that later. But QNH is flashing, which means we need to go to standard. So we go here and hit square or standard, and we can do it over here. Lazy Bones doesn't want to do it. We haven't been given 15,000 yet, have we? Coming up on 10,000. Up top. Landing lights off. And we could even, if we really wanted to, if we had, this was a passenger flight, we could even do that. And you know what? Tell them they can smoke if they want to. It's virtual. Who cares?
Clown Zulu X-ray
There we go.
70 heavy. Climb and maintain 15,000.
I maintain 15,000. Clown Zulu X-ray tree 70.
Climb and maintain 15,000. Clown Zulu X-ray tree 70 heavy.
Hopefully ATC doesn't interrupt this last part of the video. So right now we're good to go. This airplane will fly all by itself right now. It'll take us to our 15,000 cruise altitude, and then we will prepare for descent. There's really nothing else to do between now and then. Once you reach 10,000, you do a couple of light switches there, and that's about it. It's cruise time. So I will end this video here, maybe like this, because that's right. That's a nice image to leave it on. Ooh, look at that. Cool. And I thank you for watching. I hope you found at least some of this helpful. Please like and subscribe, and stay tuned for the rest of the video, or the rest of the flight anyway, that will include auto land. This baby is going to land all on its own.
Yeah, boy!